And you say, well, what's so great about hump day today, Wayne? Well, I'll tell you what's great about hump day today. Because we got 46, 47 degrees outside. We're going to go up that hump, and then this afternoon and evening, we're coming back down the hump. Oh, hey, I like that analogy. We're going to be like 19 degrees this time tomorrow. So that's where we're at. We're going to throw some snow in there. It's going to rain this afternoon, turn to snow. It's going to be a hump day for weather as well as a hump day here on Turfs Up Radio. No doubt about it. Hope you had a chance this morning to listen to my buddy Eric Jones, who was talking about a little bit about on his show about the snow that they experienced, and they're going to get this event that we've got coming through tonight his way tomorrow. So they're prepared for that. We're going to talk about little snow today. We're going to talk about the power of a dollar, and we're also going to talk about perceived value. So we got a lot and even more than that. You guys know how it goes, Well, on my show, man, we get to going and you guys get to text to me, and I know a lot of you guys will listen. Y'all are out doing snow right now, matter of fact, clean up work and whatnot. And it's that time of the year. That time of the year for sure. So Heck of Us had a great interview with Gimplers today. So hope you guys had a chance to listen to that. If you didn't, be sure to join him on his podcast version of that. So one thing just leads to the next. And here we go. And the next thing is my buddy Daniel in the pump station today talking about the little things we can do. And, it is. And, whether you're getting yourself in shape, here we are, what is it, the 19th of January. So statistically, and I don't know if Daniel talked about this on the show because I was doing a few other things, but statistically by now, everybody that said they were going to eat better and work out and do all these things great for their body and their health and the benefits of all that, they've quit by now. And that's why, Daniel always talks about on his show, just make little changes, do the little things, 1% changes, things that you can stick to. And I share that with you for this reason. Operating your business is the same exact way. Operating your business is the same exact thing. Do the little things. Do a little change. It doesn't have to be an all-in, my God, I'm just going to burn the house down and start all over again. It can be the little things. And it should be the little things because, I'm a firm believer if we take care of the little things, the big things will take care of themselves. And it's just that simple, So with that being said, my story of the day today, or one of my stories of the day today, you know what, before we go to the story of the day, we're going to take a little break here. We had a little technical difficulty in the beginning, but we're up on that first break. Let's take a short break, let our sponsors go, and Daniel, you let me know when we're good to go, okay, buddy? We're doing this remotely. How cool is that, you all? How cool is that? I've actually got a real producer today. He's off site. He's out sick, so that we're trying to make this thing work as is. And I think we got her figured out now. So, Daniel, let's listen to a few of our sponsors. And let me know.
Playing the best music.
Hands down and dirty. Turfs Up Radio.
Turfs Up Radio.
Turfs Up Radio.
Turfs Up Radio. Turfs Up Radio.
Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
Attention all veterans. Have you heard about Turfs Up Radio's Jobs for Vets program? If you are looking for a job and you're interested in working in the landscape and snow removal profession, there just might be a company in your local area that is looking to hire. All you have to do is send us your resume at jobsforvets@turfsupradio.com. That's jobsforvets@turfsupradio.com. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Isn't it nice when the weather cooperates and crews complete jobs on time and on budget? But weather can cause delays, and with paper route sheets, jobs get lost in the shuffle. That's why you need Aspire Crew Control scheduling software, an easy-to-use, flexible, and affordable solution that allows you to shift schedules with a single click. Try Aspire Crew Control for free at aspirecrewcontrol.com.
Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., The Weekend Review.
The Weekend Review.
Join King Darren and all of your favorite Turfs Up Radio hosts, including Heculus, Eric, the Turf Teacher Jones, Ryan Lee, Wayne, the Prophet Bowles, his son Daniel, the Ford, the Green Veteran, and many more. Join us live as we unpack the week and share what you may have missed live on Turfs Up Radio. That's The Weekend Review, Saturdays, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Yeah!
Oh, yeah.
Creating art from darkness. For over 20 years, Cast Lighting has designed and manufactured the world's most durable, energy-efficient, and technically advanced landscape lighting products available at astonishingly affordable prices. Cast offers an all-encompassing line of products with everything you need to get the job done. Cast Lighting gives you innovative, state-of-the-art, old-world craftsmanship with tomorrow's technology. Visit their website at cast-lighting.com today. That's cast-lighting.com.
You're listening to Turfs Up Radio, the only radio station of its kind dedicated to the green industry. Now you can even ask Alexa to tune you in when you're home.
Alrighty, and we're back here on A Prophet Time with the Prophet Wayne Voles. Here we go.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that, man. Excellent job. I never knew it could be so much fun having a real producer off site, man. This is crazy. Hey, buddy, but your ability and my ability to talk a little bit about a few things, I think we got this under control, so good deal. So we're actually getting a couple texts in too, so we're good. I think we got this under control. So first thing I want to talk about today on Prophet Time, is first of all, tell you guys thanks for being here with me. I do appreciate that, as always. And each and every one of us here on Turfs Up Radio, we're here for one reason. Actually, it's a few reasons, but we're going to group them into one group. And that's just to elevate and educate the industry and throw in a little bit of fun as we do it. And, I try to throw in a little bit of fun and stories with it as I talk about, my experiences, and so does Daniel and Eric and Heculus and Darren, and the list goes on and on. Jose Rowland, just Ryan, just all of us. We just try to make it fun and educational, and I think we've accomplished that goal. I really do. But if at any point in time you think, hey, Wayne, I'd like to hear something different, or I want to, hey, could you talk about this? And feel free to reach out to me. Just simply, it's an easy thing to do. Just shoot me an email at profittime@turfsupradio.com. Profittime@turfsupradio.com. If you'd like to hear something specific, that we want to talk about. Because I know this time of the year, we're all about, when I say we're all about, that's me and you and a lot of us in this industry. We're all about looking at our businesses, evaluating our businesses, and how we can do things different and better. And I know I've got a lot of different segments that I'm going to be talking about, that I think are important to my business as well as your business. And, I appreciate all the knowledge that you guys share with me through your text and emails to help me run my business. And I know you're thinking, oh, Wayne, that's a bunch of BS, man. You've been in business a long time. Everything's running down a straight and narrow road. But, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, like I am all the time. Just because we're entering our 43rd year of being full-service lawn and landscape contractor here in Louisville, doesn't mean that we know it all. And I had this conversation just yesterday with a gentleman in Alberta, Canada, matter of fact, that listens to us, and possibly going to be doing some business coaching with him. And, that's what he was talking about, that he appreciates the honesty that I put out here on Turfs Up Radio and in my YouTube videos, and the fact that I'm not perfect. And, and I think that's what we bring to the table here on Turfs Up Radio, all of our contributors, that, hey, we've made a lot of mistakes. We continue to make a lot of mistakes. So know that just because you've been in business 5 years, 10 years, I had a guy the other day I was talking to. This is a funny story, man. I swore I wasn't going to tell this story, but I am, and it's really not too crazy, but it's real. And this guy was going into his third year of business, and he just thought he had it all figured out. He just had it all figured out. He didn't need any help, didn't want any help. And I'm thinking, okay, well, why'd you reach out in the first place then? I mean, that's, why'd you reach out in the first place was my initial thought. But I'm glad he did, but I don't need help. I'm doing great. I've got 37 accounts, and I'm like, dude, if you just open your eyes a little bit, open your eyes, open your ears, and close your damn mouth. That's what we all need to do. Open our eyes, open our ears, and close our mouth sometimes and listen. Because like I said, 43 years going into this, all the feedback that you guys give me through text and emails and, conversations on the phone, and you guys have helped me with my business. And that's why I like to share some ideas with you guys and how I can help you with your business. And together, what are we doing? We're making the industry better. We're making the industry more professional, and certainly we're making our own individual companies better. And I say it all the time, but that's the only one that we have any control over, and that's our own company. I can't change the industry. You can't change the industry. But what you can do is change your own business. And I think now, as we're sitting here on January 19th and we're looking forward to a new year, and we're talking about doing different things and maybe diversifying our services. And, like today we're going to talk about, perceived value and the power of the dollar. The reality of it is simply this. Each and every one of us control our own businesses. Are you willing to take the next step? If you had one chance, one opportunity, are you going to take it? Or are you going to let it slip away? That's the choice that we each make every day. Are you going to let that opportunity slip away, or are you going to take it? And one thing as we work into our first topic today, as we talk about perceived value a little bit, have you really thought about what perceived value is? I know, because, a lot of times we get so hung up in working our business that we don't think about the business side of our business as much as we should. And that was me. I went a long time. I was 9 years before I realized that more work wasn't going to fix my problem that I had at Wayne's Lawn Service. You guys have heard this story, but and I know we got new listeners too, so I'm just briefly going to tell the story again. But, back in 1987, and I realize some of you guys listening to me weren't even born in 1987, but the reality of it is, it was my brother and I. He ran a truck, I ran a truck, and, our cash flow was good, but our profit dollars were extinct. I'll say that one more time. Our cash flow was good, but our profit dollars were not there at all. They were gone. They probably weren't gone. They were never there. But we thought we were going to fix it by doing more work. because we were wanting to do it like everybody else is doing it. And maybe that's the one thing when you get one chance, one opportunity that you look at today, not tomorrow, but today, is to ask yourself, are you willing to change one thing? And maybe that one thing today we're going to look at is perceived value. What's the perceived value of your business to not only your customers' eyes, but just anybody that sees you going down the street or hears you talking to somebody? Do you know what that perceived value is? Are you willing to ask other people? Have you ever asked anybody else's opinion? Not your customers, because your customers like you probably, you know. Not all of our customers like us. Some of them just buy from us because we're the path of least resistance. And you got to understand that too. But what we also got to look at, you know, see, we've got a couple texts coming in here. You guys probably hear them dinging in. But what we also got to ask ourselves is, what are we doing to increase the perceived value of your company? Let me see, Mike's got going here. Absolutely, Wayne. Another thing to add to perceived value topic. Make sure you're giving that value to customers who actually value you. Absolutely. You know? And what are you doing? Have you thought about what are some little things? I'm going to put your thinking cap on for a minute. Some little things that you can do to create perceived value. Because at the end of the day, it boils down to simply this. You got to look professional. You got to act professional. Now, what each and every one of us do to make that happen, it's up to you. It's all up to you. But what I do know is the image that you reflect is the income that you should expect. And I'll say that again because it's that important. And if I can show you, I keep that. It's right here on my monitor, on my desk. It's a little handwritten note. And it's right there. The image you reflect is the income you should expect. And I look at that all day, every day. There's little things that we can do. Got a delivery coming in the door. Nobody's here to take it, so you guys might hear him. Let's see. Okay, he's stuck. He's locked out. That's a good thing. Kyle locked the door when he left. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Didn't mean to lock you out, but let me let this guy in for a second. Hang on. He's banging. Okay, I got you. There you go. Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. Thanks. No problem. All righty. Yeah. He said, I thought I heard somebody talking. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. Oh, my gosh. Own your own business. It's fun, they say. Yeah, I hear you. It is. Most of the time it is anyway, but just know that what are some little things that you can do to create a little bit of perceived value? You know, I think, you know, just to touch on a few of them because we got a lot of things I want to touch on today, but I think it really boils down to Mike's point to a certain extent is make sure you're giving that value to the customers who actually value you. In other words, have you funny text, I get to it. Appreciate it. Have you not only asked your customers, because that's who most of us ask, and I know I just said this a minute ago, but I just want to reiterate it. Have you asked your customers and outside your customer base what they think of you and your business? And until you do that, you really don't know what the perceived value or the perception of your company really is. And I know my buddy Hectobus always says the customer's perception is our reality. And I believe that 110%. You know, I think, you know, that's the reality of it. Do you know? And have you asked? You know, it goes back to something, some of you guys might have seen this the other day on some of the social medias, but when I saw it, I thought it was an excellent point. And matter of fact, before I get to this point, let's get a break out of the way. Daniel, let's take a short break, run a few of our sponsors that keep us going here on Turf's Up Radio here on Hump Day. You got Wayne Bowles with Profit Time. Daniel, take away. We'll be right back. Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world, no one rocks like Turf's Up Radio. Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
For over 20 years, Cast Lighting has designed and manufactured the world's most durable, energy-efficient, and technically advanced landscape lighting products available at astonishingly affordable prices. Cast offers an all-encompassing line of products with everything you need to get the job done. Source Lighting, a new division by Cast, is your source for professional grand landscape lighting made of durable brass, offering both integrated and drop-in LED technology. Visit their website at cast-lighting.com today. That's cast-lighting.com.
Hey, Turf's Up Radio fans, keep missing industry events but want to stay up to date on the action? Then simply download the Road Fuel Podcast by Turf's Up Radio on your mobile device. You'll hear everything you missed, including great interviews with showgoers and vendors keeping you in the know. That's the Road Fuel Podcast by Turf's Up Radio, or simply visit turfsupradio.com/Road Fuel.
Hi, we're Big and Rich.
And I'm Cowboy Troy.
And you're listening to Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Bring it up. Absolutely. Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station. You know, I was looking at several texts you guys have sent, and you know, the reality of it's just this, and, you know, it's becoming Grand Central Station around here at Wayne's Lawn Services office today. But, you know, as we look at perceived value, and something that I saw and I wanted to share because it is an absolute truth, as, you know, there's a lot of different things that it boils down to when you look at perceived value. But one of the thing that I saw was somebody posted up on social media simply about a bottled water. And it was, they said, you know, a bottle of water at Costco. And I mean, I don't know if this is exactly right. You guys would know it for sure. But they said it's about 25 cents. That same bottle of water might be 40 cents at the supermarket. You order a bottle of water out at a bar, and it's a couple bucks. You know, if you get it at a restaurant, it's $3. If you get it at the airport, it's $5. You know, and I don't know that these prices are exactly right, but the point all goes back to perceived value. What is the perceived value? Well, if you're going to a wholesale, and look at the same thing with your business. You know, you can go to Costco and get a 24-pack for $3 or $4 or $5. But if you go to a professional game, it's $6 a bottle. But guess what? We buy it at Costco, and we buy it at a professional game, let's say, whether it's basketball, football, whatever, at the airport or out at a restaurant. Fill in the blank. But the point to take away from this is simply there's a lot of different pricing structures for that same bottle of water. What are you doing to create perceived value for your business? It's the same exact thing. You know, a lot of times we don't want to think about it like that, or we don't look at it like that. But the reality of it is there's guys out there providing lawn and landscaping services and fertilization and weed control services and landscape lighting services and fill in the blank for whatever it is, snow and ice management services. There's guys that are out there doing it for a quarter as a comparison, not literally, but just you guys are with me on this. And there's guys that are out there charging $6 for it. And there's everybody in between. So I think the first thing that we have to do as a business owner is to pick a lane. Have you picked the lane that you want to run your company in? You're trying to be everything for everybody and sell some of your services at a quarter and some of them at $6, or you're just trying to be something to somebody. You know, and I've been talking about picking a lane since 1990. It's a pretty common topic these days, a lot of times with other people, but I've been talking about that since 1990 when I started Profits Unlimited, is because Wayne's Lawn Service had not picked a lane. We were trying to be everything to everybody, from the little old lady on Social Security to the large corporations of the world. And the reality of it was we weren't doing anything but creating a lot of cash flow with no profit dollars. And, you know, you guys that are out there that are one truck operations or two truck operations, you got to think about what is the goal of your company. Maybe it's to stay at one truck operation, and that's absolutely okay. Maybe you want to be the next True Green, and that's absolutely okay. Maybe you want to fall somewhere in the middle, and that's okay. But what you got to ultimately understand is you've got a business for one reason, and that's, or what the reason should be. Now, a lot of people get screwed up and forget what it should be. Trust me, because I was screwed up for 9 years. But the only reason you should have a business is to have something that you're going to build to sell to somebody. If that's a one truck operation, that's okay. You just, you know, you're not going to get the big sell. You're going to sell it, but it's not going to be the big sell that somebody larger is going to have. But you've got to know that you've got to be creating perceived value within your business, because someday, you know, this is a young man's game. That's the reality of it. You know, it's a young guy's game. So have you just created a job for yourself? And that's okay, because some people, I can hear some of you guys saying right now, yeah, I'm content with that, man, because I can't work with anybody else. Everybody in the whole world's an asshole, you know, and everywhere I work sucked, and, you know, I've never had a boss I liked, and you got all these millions of reasons. But don't forget that as you're pointing and calling everybody out with that hand, you got one finger pointing at everybody you're calling out, but you got three fingers pointing back at you and saying, okay, man, they might be part of the problem, but do you think that, you know, those three fingers that are pointing back at you, that you might be part of the problem too? You know? Absolutely. And, you know, good point, Ben Briscoe. I appreciate that text. I remember Ben just sent me a text about our buddy, God, just lost my whole train of thought, man. Steve Russ. And, you know, he always said, some will, some won't, so what? And once I started operating my business on that mindset, we start being a whole lot more successful, a whole lot more profitable. You've got to pick a lane. And when you pick a lane and when you decide who it is you want to service, whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, all of it, or one lane of it, just pick a lane and do what you need to do to go after that clientele. Create that perceived value. What can you do that's going to set you apart and make you different and better in a perceived value position to that demographic of customers that you want to go after? Take a short break, because, man, my brain's hurting. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station. We'll be right back.
There's more to landscape lighting than just throwing a fixture under a tree. The best display is one that was not only designed well, but also stands the test of time. High-quality fixtures and bulbs are key to long-term success and customer happiness. At Emery Allen, our focus is on creating only the highest performance landscape bulbs in the industry, with long-lasting components that don't degrade or flicker with age. Each bulb's appearance is always consistent throughout your lighting project. We offer a wide range of base types, beam spreads, and color choices that will fit your needs. To learn more, give us a call at 843-480-4473 or email us at info@emeryallen.com.
Hey Turfs Up Radio fans, do you know what time it is? That's right, it's Turfs Up Radio time. Now you can hear the latest updates in green industry news, services and technology. Learn about new products all while enjoying the best music. If you don't believe me, then ask my good friend Alexa. Just say launch Turfs Up Radio.
Hey everybody, this is Hecubus from the Nightcap. I'm just sitting here relaxing within the vault with my friends and a tasty, tasty pint. You should stop by and listen in sometime. I'm here every Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, live only on Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
Hey everybody, it's Brooke Ford, host of The Green Veteran here on Turfs Up Radio. Be sure to check me out every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. You're going to hear some great one-on-one interviews with green industry professionals. We're going to talk about best business practices, highlight innovative products, and also provide some insight into some new emerging technologies in the field. That's The Green Veteran, airing each Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station, coming to you live. Animal City Beach.
I love that. I love that. Callie, I tell you what, I love that little road fuel we did with them. That's awesome. They were having such a fun time there, and I thought, man, they got to do this. And y'all know I'll always talk about how much I love it, but anyway, those girls did a good job with that. There's a much longer version of that. But the funny part about it is, man, Daniel had to work on it to get it to where it sounded halfway sensible. So big shout out to Daniel. Big shout out to Daniel on that as well. So, as we wrap up, that perceived value thing, and we can talk I've literally got a 3-hour presentation that I do on perceived value. But as we wrap that up, I think the main takeaway is just know that you got to decide first who you are, then decide who your client's going to be, and then ask yourself, what can you do different and better within the competition that you're going to see going after that type of clientele? I think that's the question that you got to answer for yourself. And sometimes some of the simple things that it doesn't matter who you're going after, is just to be more professional. Just be more professional. Do what you say you're going to do. Show up. From a perceived value standpoint, show up. We simply, on all of our trucks, we simply have a starburst on our trucks that says, we show up. And you would be surprised how many people call us because of that. It's on our website. It's on our trucks. It's on all of our marketing that we do. Because it seems to be, as simple as that is, the creating perceived value, that seems to be one of the hardest things that our industry, or the service-related industry, has. I know I got a lot of guys listening to me here on Turfs Up on Profit Time that, aren't involved in the landscaping business. So, you're doing other things. But it doesn't matter what business you're in. Return a phone call and show up when you tell somebody you're going to be there. We started using that as a marketing and branding position for our company many, many years ago. We were sitting around thinking, okay, what can we do different this year than our competitors, other than say, oh, we're dependable and we do a great job and we got 6,942 references or testimonials or referrals or whatever you call them these days. Showing my age a little bit, at least, but reviews. The reality of it's just this. It goes back to what my dad used to call the Vince Lombardi things. It's the little things. We've got to do the little things different and better than our competitors. And one of the little things that you can do, and you guys are welcome to take this as a takeaway, simply next advertising piece you put out, whether it's a flyer, a direct mail piece, whatever, if you're doing radio advertising, I know there's a million things you can do, social media advertising, whatever it is, just make the focus, we show up, and I guarantee you're going to see some results just from that starburst. Get that put on your trucks. Get that put on your trucks. We show up. I'm telling you, I'm not steering you wrong. we overthink it sometimes. We try to think of the best thing, the right methodology. We tried to get that protected here in the state of Kentucky, those words, we show up, because some of our competitors start using it. And that's okay. That was okay. So we tried to get it protected and couldn't do it. It was too generic. That goes into another show about trying to get, something you really like, either trademarked or protected. But come to find out, there's a lot of things that aren't protected that are very generic like that, like Nike. Their little can't think of what their little thing is. That was one of the things. God, what was it? Just do it. Just do it. Yeah. So, hey, we show up. That's the takeaway from Profit Time today. We got a big day here on Turfs Up Radio still ahead. Immediately following my show, we've got Beth Berry with the Head of the Curb, and then Adam Linneman with the Wise Guys, and then my old buddy Dan Plata at 4 o'clock coming on with Bookkeeping, Beer, and BS. You guys, I know a lot of you guys are listening to Dan, but if you haven't had an opportunity yet, be sure to listen to Dan at 4. He's got the perfect radio voice, in my opinion. I've got no backing of that, but you listen to that guy and he's like, you want to listen more. His voice is just really cool on the radio, But he's got a great show, and he blends the bookkeeping, beer, and BS right together perfectly, because he's like us, man. It's all about trying to help educate and elevate the industry. And then my old buddy Hecubus tonight comes back around pulling double duty. Hecubus, Hecubus, we appreciate you, man. I hope you're listening. But you pull double duty. You do a heck of a lot of good things here at Turfs Up. And, that's probably why you're leading the pack. That's why you're number one on Turfs Up Radio. But, I need your guys' help still. I'm going to ask you. I haven't asked you for a few days. If you're not sharing Profit Time with your friends or downloading the podcast, because you can't always listen live, I would certainly appreciate it if you'd go do that just wherever you like to get your podcast. Just simply type in Profit Time and download that podcast. Share it with your friends, because we got one reason that we're in business, right? Each and every one of us. And that's to make a profit, to scale our businesses to whatever size you want to be. But whatever size it is you decide you want to be the best at it and help as many people as you can. Yeah, there's some competitors that you like or don't like. The reality of it is, hey, I've got people that, I wouldn't put water on them if they were on fire, but I would never criticize that person in public to somebody when I'm talking about my competitors. I'm kind of getting off on a little bit of a tangent here, but I think it's important to bring it up. Don't criticize your competitor to a potential client. I was just, I was taught and raised that, and I respect the heck out of my father, and he was in sales his entire life. And, he always told me, he said, Wayne, if a salesperson has to resort to criticizing their competitor to make a sale, they've got nothing to sell themselves. And I want you to think about that a little bit today. Have you ever done that? How many times haven't you heard somebody do that? Criticize their competition. Flick off the competition when they're driving down the road. I got one of the best friends I've got here right now. He thought I flicked him off one day, and I was just actually waving, just had a couple fingers in the air. Jeff, great guy, got a great company here. He's been in business probably 35, 40 years like we have. And we kind of grew up together, and he actually attended one of our seminars one day. And he said, this goes back probably 30 years or so. But he told me, he said, man, I thought you flicked me off. He said, I was really pissed off at you for a long time over there. I said, no, man, because I got a bad habit of waving with a couple fingers sometimes, kind of sideways. And I guess he thought I flicked him and his wife off. She was with him, and I didn't. So, but anyway, goes back to that perception thing again, right? We're back on that perception. Hey, let's take a short break. We'll come right back. Turf Time is 10:45 a.m. We'll be right back.
Attention all pros. When you leave a deal with your clients, don't leave money on the table. Join Turfs Up Nation today and partner with pros all across the country who can help you make more money for your services that are related to your project. Landscapers need plumbers, and pool installers need hardscapers, and every combination in between. Turfs Up Nation is free, your information is secure, and you'll be connected with other pros in the industry who want to do business with you. And not to mention property owners who need help with everything. If you think your clients don't need you and the connections you have, think again. Join TurfsUpNation.com today and start putting more money in your pocket for services you never knew you could. Just remember to sign up for this free service. Go to TurfsUpNation.com.
Business owners are looking for no-nonsense software to help grow their lawn care companies, and Field Routes has the technology to help. Field Routes automates, not complicates. Routing, scheduling, collections, marketing, reporting, and more are all in one complete solution. So drop the nonsense and automate your lawn care business today. To learn more and to get your free demo, along with 3 months for free, simply visit our website today at fieldroutes.com. That's fieldroutes.com. What are you waiting for?
Are you tired of working dawn to dusk 7 days a week and still struggling? Working hard isn't your issue. What you need to focus on is the business side of your business. That's where Profits Unlimited comes in. With our 42 years of experience in the industry, we have faced the challenges you are going through. We can help you with bidding, contracts, marketing, selling, and much more. Check us out at profitsrus.com. That's profitsareus.com when you are ready to earn what you deserve. And don't forget, tune into Profit Time at 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Remember, profit is not a dirty word.
You're listening to Turfs Up Radio, the only radio station of its kind dedicated to the green industry. Now you can even ask Alexa to tune you in when you're home.
All right, Alexa. Man, the technology these days, man. You know, Alexa. We look at Field Routes. You know, we heard about they're our sponsor, Field Routes, and you know the technology and software now that we can implement within our businesses to help us be more successful, more profitable, make our life easier. Make our life easier. And speaking of making our life easier, you know, as we enter in this last segment of our show, Profit Time, today here on Turfs Up Radio. Appreciate you guys hanging with me. Smoking Joe, appreciate you being with me, man. Just got a text from him and Mike, and gosh, you got Aaron. You guys, I appreciate y'all all listening and y'all's dedication to Turfs Up Radio and Profit Time. You know, because I'm here to just try to help you guys be more successful. And like I said when I started the show, man, you guys certainly give me great input on helping me be better with my business, and I sincerely mean that. I wanted to talk in this last segment about a newsletter that we sent out as Profits Unlimited. And I know a lot of you guys are getting it already, but if you're not, we'd certainly like you to get our newsletters. There's no charge for them. Daniel sends them out pretty regular, just on how to little things. It goes back to the little things again, the Vince Lombardi thing. We got to do the little things better than our competitor, right? You know, it's just that simple. But he entitled it, and when I saw it, I thought, man, this is a perfect topic for my show. And it's just the power of $1 an hour. The power of $1 an hour was the title. And as I looked at it and started going through it and reading it a little bit, I thought, man, this is, we got to talk about this on Turfs Up Radio because it's right on target. And it went on to say, and I'm not going to read it to you because that'd be boring as hell, but it went on to say that you always hear us say here on Profit Time that we all get 24 hours a day, right? How we use them is up to us. But Daniel's explanation in there said, you know, and I know his math's right on this. He said there's 8,760 hours in a year. I guess that's with or without leap year, or if we have to have add that nanosecond to the atomic clock or whatever, but somewhere pretty close to 8,760 hours a year. Now, obviously, those aren't all workable hours unless your name is Eric Jones, who he does not sleep, you know. But other than Eric, I actually heard Eric say he was tired this morning, last night. when he came in from all that de-icing and shoveling and stuff. First time I've ever heard him say he was tired. But, unless you're Eric Jones, you're not getting 8,760 hours of work in. He's probably getting 8,700 hours or something. He sleeps like 5 minutes a day or something. But, just got a text from a fella that he clicked off where I got to read it, but he read that newsletter. But if you'd like to sign up for our newsletters, it's real simple. Just go to our website. It's Profits R Us. It's Profits, AREUS.com. And just simply go to our website, and then you look simply at our Contact Us link, and down at the bottom of that, you can sign up for our newsletter. But in this particular one, I know we're running out of time and I wanted to cover it, but obviously all those 8,760 hours aren't hours that we work. So what we got to think about, though, is what can we do to maximize the efficiency of those hours that we are using in a year? But let's start it out at the most important premise of the whole thing. And appreciate you guys saying you like the newsletters, man. Appreciate that. Are you 100% sure that you're not just $1 an hour off? In other words, do you know why you charge what you charge based on an accurate methodology? Not because you said, hey, I want to do X number of dollars of business, or I got this to do or that to do, and, I'm trying to reach this target goal. But do you know what your truck costs per hour? Do you know what your equipment costs per hour? Do you know what your labor truly costs you per hour? And, that's something we can talk about when we got more time. We don't have the time, to knock it all down right now. But the reality of it is, do you know, and I'm actually today going to work with a fellow on this exact thing when I get off my Turfs Up Profit Time show, coming in for a little coaching on this exact topic. We're going to calculate his cost per hour of operation. Because whether you've been in business 1 year, 20 years, 10 years, fill in the blank how long you've been in business, until you know for sure what that cost per hour of operation is, just being $1 off can be the difference between success and failure for your company. And too many times we just don't think about it. We think, well, we're close. We're close, but we just don't know. But what we want to do is drill down on that number for your company. Drill down to know that, hey, I need $75 an hour, or I need $50 an hour, or I need $150 an hour. I don't care what it is. I don't care what your break-even point is, but you owe it to yourself to know why you charge what you charge, whether you're doing lawn work, whether you're doing landscape lighting, whether you're doing tree work, whether fill in the blank, aeration, seeding. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but you've got to drill it down to know what are your true cost per hour of operation for your company will be. And you think, well, what's the big deal? The big deal is when you look at those 8,760 hours a year that we all have available. Now, if we're just a few dollars an hour off, just as a one truck operation, just you and no help, that's a significant difference in what may or may not be profit dollars for your company. The reality of it is, it's a scary reality, but it doesn't have to be your reality. There is a solution. I'm not saying you got to work with Profits Unlimited. There's other software. There's a lot more software out there that, will help you determine your cost per hour of operation. But what I do know about our particular spreadsheet is we get feedback from guys all over North America as a whole saying it's simple to use, it's accurate to use, and it's professional. It's not software to learn. It's simply a spreadsheet. Everything's based on your company's costs, whether your truck costs, your use rates, your overhead, not an industry standard. And as we wrap up the show today on Profit Time, let's just do it this way. You know, you can guess for the rest of your life, and that's okay. But you don't have to. Why do you want to put yourself through it? I'm not saying you got to use Profits Unlimited information. I'm saying you owe it to yourself to use somebody's information. Know why you charge what you charge. If you would like to try ours, we'd be happy to help you out. Just go to our website, look up Know Why You Charge What You Charge and our available products there. And because you listen to Turfs Up Radio, we got a 20% discount code you can use for the product. It's simply Turfs Up Radio, all lowercase. Simple. Stop guessing at what you're charging and know what you need to charge. And you talk about having peace of mind. You know, when you talk about having peace of mind in the company, the reality of it is simply this. Once you know where that break-even point's at, you'll know, and what you'll do is the same thing I did when I calculated it for my company. You'll go right to your existing customer base, because what do we know about our existing customers? We know two things. We know how long they take and how much they pay. So anybody that you have on a reoccurring service, whether it's mowing, mulching, hedge trimming, landscaping, you know, whatever it may be, aeration, fertilization, weed control, all those reoccurring services that we have, you know how much they pay, how long they take, and then you'll know if they're profitable or not, and if you need to change your cost. Does it need to go up? Am I too high? As crazy as that sounds, before we knew, we'd look at larger type jobs and we'd have the job overpriced, and we didn't get it because we were too high. When we could have enjoyed a decent margin at a lower price, but because we weren't confident in our bidding system, we didn't know how to do it. So if you had one chance, one opportunity, you going to take it, or are you going to let it slip away? Don't let it slip away. Take the time now, not tomorrow, not the next day, but take the time now to set your company apart from everybody else. Simply know why you charge, what you charge. If we can help you at Profits Unlimited, simply go to our website at Profits, AREUS, that's profitsrus.com. Use the promo code Turfs Up Radio, all lowercase, and take that 20% discount because you do trust us here on Turfs Up Radio. Appreciate y'all listening today. We're going to wrap this show up of Profit Time on Hump Day. Be sure to keep listening. At 11, my friend Beth Berry, Ahead of the Curve, will be on. And again at 3 today, Adam Linneman with the Wise Guys. 4, we got Bookkeeping, Beer, and BS. And then tonight at 8 o'clock, my buddy Heckabus coming to you live from high. I can't get that high, but he gets pretty high with it. High out there in his bunker. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station. Thanks, and we'll see you Friday for Truth Bomb Friday. Stay safe.